show.
We discuss the Clippers' 31-point comeback and how Cousins' injury affects the Dubs' chances of a three-peat.
Carlos Boozer is here to tell us whether Embiid should have been ejected, if San Antonio can upset Denver, and whether he apologized to Danny Crawford.
And we debate which player is under the most pressure heading into tonight's Game 2.
It's Tuesday, April 16th. The starter starts now.
Good evening, Sweet World, and welcome to The Starters, presented by Jack Daniel's Old No. 7 and Tennessee Honey. I'm Jay Skeets, alongside me as always, Tass Mellis. We got the Aussie Lee Ellis, and over yonder, that's the bearded one, that's Trey Kirby.
Hey-yo!
Hey-yo! Trey, what's up?
Well, I'm here at the internet looking for your best tweets at hashtag the starters. And guys, Lou Williams was booming last night as the sixth man played perhaps his best NBA game, scoring 36 points and dishing out 11 assists in a historic comeback win. So how did Lou Will celebrate? With a tray of concession stand nachos, cheese, and salsa. That is the dinner of champions, ladies and gentlemen. And it brings us to today's question. What is the NBA's best post-game food moment? Like, for instance, maybe it's Klay Thompson snacking on some popcorn after winning a title, or maybe it's Klay Thompson crushing some pizza during a press conference scrum, or maybe it's, Klay Thompson having a beer during a press conference. So relaxing. The guy gets hungry. But we want to hear from you. So let us know on Twitter, what is the NBA's best post-game food moment? Send them to us at hashtag the starters. We'll hear from you later.
All right, get your tweets in. On tonight's show, Carlos Boozer is back to play a little and one or and none. We're going to look ahead to tonight's 3 Game 2s. We got a very solid play. Let's start, though, with a little true or false playoffs edition. Some crazy games last night in the association. Trey, let's do this.
Hope you didn't pull a Lee Ellis and go to bed early last night, because that means you missed the greatest comeback in NBA playoff history. Thanks to Lou Will and Montrezl Harrell, the Clippers wiped out the Warriors' 31-point second-half lead as rookie Landry Shamet hit a game-winning three. It was a crazy game, but true or false? The Warriors lost Game 2 more than the Clippers won it.
What? No, it's false.
That's
the Clippers created the circumstances. They created their opportunities to make this happen. They got Steph Curry into foul trouble. Patrick Beverley got under the skin of Kevin Durant and won that mental battle. Kevin Durant should not be only taking 8 shots in a game like this. They created a lot of those turnovers that the Warriors were pretty sloppy with, and then Lou Williams was Metro booming. Yeah, he was wild. He was wild in this one. The first thing that Steve Kerr was worried about when analyzing this series was the Clippers bench, and this guy primarily, along with Montrezl Harrell. He was fantastic. What is there to say? But it was the entire team that really rallied around each other and knew that this was a legit opportunity that they could make history.
The Warriors didn't help themselves, though, either, by making some terrible passes. They've been sloppy with the ball at times, and Steve Kerr has been talking about that, not just this season, going back other seasons where the Warriors just get a little bit lazy. And when you have a 31-point lead, it's understandable that you take your foot off the gas a little bit, but once that lead gets back to 15, 14 points, you would think the Warriors would lock in, and Kevin Durant would take more shots, and Steph and Klay and all those guys would go, okay, we're not going to blow this game, especially in a playoff series like that. But the Clippers themselves, they didn't really do anything all that special. It was just ride the hot hand of Lou, and then he trusted his teammates, including the incredible rookies Gilgeous-Alexander and Landry Shamet there at the end, which I think is really what shows just how together this Clippers team is. That Lou Will, you wouldn't have blamed him if he decided, you know what, at the end of the game, it's all up to me, I'm going to try to hit the game-winning shot. Instead, he showed complete faith in
two rookies.
Incredible faith like that. But again, I think that's a representation, and Patrick Beverley kind of is the heartbeat for this team, but it shows that they all kind of believe each other and trust each other.
Yeah, this is what the Clippers do, guys. They do these crazy comebacks. They did it in the regular season. They came back from 28 once. They did it again, coming back from 25. Doc Rivers now has 3 20-plus postseason comebacks. They just never give up fighting. And you go back to Patrick Beverley. He really believed at some point, even when they were down 25, 30, whatever, we could still win this game. And I know, like, after the fact, it's very easy to say, guys, like, oh, we were never going to give up. Yeah, we're always going to keep fighting. It's easy to say that after you maybe pull it off once in a while. But I actually believe it with Patrick Beverley, especially when he got that steal on Steph Curry at half, just totally picked his pocket, went the other way, gave it to Gallinari for a dunk there. And that got, it was like 14 or 16. He was like, oh yeah, we're going to do this. We're just playing a little bit harder. Yeah, maybe they've let their guard down a little bit, but we're going to take advantage of it. You had the shot making from Lou. Montrezl Harrell didn't miss a shot.
Yeah.
He was just as much money coming off the bench for the Clips. This was a cool performance. Now, I don't think the Clippers are going to win this series. I don't think anyone out there really believes that, but They might make it a little more interesting here and still maybe have another game in them back in LA. So it's sort of pretty fun.
At this point, if they come back 2-2 to Golden State's got to be worried.
Best of 3 series at that point.
Yeah, if they can win one there. And I know Steve Kerr was very aware that the Clippers come back in games because it was 31 points. It got down to 27. And Steve Kerr called a timeout at 27 points.
Yeah.
That's a very big number, but he was well aware that it was dwindling. It dwindled down to 16. And listen, the Warriors tried to stem the tide a bunch of times.
Yep.
They made some big shots themselves, but it didn't happen because of the Clippers. The Clippers really did make this happen. And I am interested to keep seeing this Kevin Durant, Patrick Beverley feud. Game 1, it happens.
Yep.
The ejection. Game 2, Beverley was under his skin a lot of time. And Kevin Durant, it became sort of in his head that this guy is there. And you know what? Sometimes I don't want the ball. And sometimes I need a pick up top. He's got to just battle through it. He's too big and too strong to let Patrick Beverley get under there. Just fight through it. Just battle through it. Make the referees make a call.
Beverley's spoken to the coaching staff as well in LA and said, I want Kevin Durant.
Yeah.
This is the matchup for me. He's giving up a foot and quite a few pounds as well. But he knows that mental game, they're at the same sort of level. And this is the sort of thing, the sort of scrappy fight that a guy like him really earns his money on because he's a good player for them, but he's not the Lou Williams, obviously, scoring the ball, but he can certainly contribute in other ways.
Wild, wild comeback. All right, Trey, next one.
All right, last night's Warriors loss was the dictionary definition of adding insult to injury, as the Dubs saw big man DeMarcus Cousins go down with a non-contact leg injury just 4 minutes into Game 2. An MRI today revealed a torn left quad muscle for Cousins, who will be out indefinitely. Guys, true or false? The Warriors need Boogie to win a championship.
Knee, not necessarily, but they're going to miss him.
So you're going false or you're going true?
I'm saying I'm saying they're going to miss him.
Are you saying false or are you saying true?
I'm saying it's true-ish, but it could be false.
Oh, no. It's
Look,
false. You know it's false.
Yeah, I know it's false, but
it
this
sucks
is why they got Andrew Bogut. This is why they got him as insurance in case something like this happened to Cousins, who came back obviously halfway through the season, had some good moments, but also had some struggling moments out there. But he's a sort of player who they wanted him out there because he's so dynamic offensively. He can shoot the ball, he can score, he can use his body in the right matchup to go inside. And the fact that he's not there at all does leave a little bit of a hole there. Bogut has played on this team. He knows how they operate. He knows how to help run that offense, but he's not the same player who can shoot from the perimeter like DeMarcus Cousins. Yeah. And he's not another 6 fouls, which they also need from DeMarcus on the defensive end. So the Warriors, they've won without him, but they will certainly miss him at times.
Yeah, they've got 3 centers, and Jordan Bell can join in on that Kevon Looney and Andrew Bogut train. They're fine. When they signed DeMarcus Cousins, we knew that was excess. They're the Vegas of the NBA. They got everything they need.
Right.
Take him away. The question is, does this hurt their locker room a little bit? Is it sort of just a splinter or a bit of a fissure in their locker room? I doubt it. I doubt it. They probably rally around it because they're that good. That's the thing. They are the worst opponent for themselves. It's that old adage.
Right.
So does it tear their locker room apart a little bit? Is it the first tiny crack in their foundation? Maybe something else happens, maybe something else happens. In and of itself, it's not going to hurt them.
Yeah, it's just exciting in a weird way to see what Kerr does. How many minutes does Bogut get? I assume he starts, but then when do you go to Looney, who's played well so far in this series, and we'll see if he can continue it in the playoffs. Yeah, do you dust off Jordan Bell and give him a chance again? Those are all questions that Kerr has to answer here, but I just feel bad for Cousins, ultimately. I mean, he had never played in the playoffs until this season. Now he played 25 minutes, and his season, comes to an end again, by all accounts, if that is a torn quad, as they're saying it is, and he's likely out for the rest of the year. That just sucks. And the guy's trying to make money, too. He's trying to get paid, and now he's got to go into another offseason, rehabbing, and hopefully getting a deal. And will anyone even give him a multi-year deal? Sucks.
A couple of years, 2 years, but I don't think he's going to get more than that.
It's not a lock, though. That's not a lock.
No.
All right, Trey, final one.
All right, over in the Eastern Conference, the 76ers literally and figuratively beat up on the Nets last night as Philly played some big boy ball to get a Game 2 win. But the big story coming out of this one is Joel Embiid elbowing Jarrett Allen in the face. Embiid got hit with a flagrant 1, but the talk all night was if the elbow should have been a flagrant 2. You make the call, Joe Borgia. True or false? Embiid should have been ejected.
True. I missed that show.
You say true. Okay, start. I disagree.
Why is that?
I think they got it right with the flagrant 1. You know, it's more than an offensive foul. They went and looked at it. He hits him. I mean,
clean. He takes his head off.
He definitely rocks the fro.
Yeah.
No doubt. The fro goes flying backwards. And man, Jarrett Allen, he's got a heck of a chin on him. He took it like a champ, got up and hit the free throws and everything. But Embiid's saying is, and Shaq was saying obviously on the halftime broadcast, it is a move. He's a basketball move. I am taught as a big guy to turn with some aggression and I just caught him. And I thought Embiid was a little apologetic on the floor. He did go and find him.
He wasn't after
Now
the
he
game.
laughed, in the post-game press conference. I think Ben Simmons got him laughing.
It's careless,
at that
though.
one,
It's careless. It doesn't matter if it's a big
but okay,
man
so
move.
what's wrong with the flagrant one? You want him tossed for that?
Yeah, because he knocked him in clean in the head. We've seen any above-the-shoulder contact with a head or an arm get ejected before. So why not in this case?
Throughout this entire season, if you saw that, a guy would be ejected. By the letter of the law, he would likely be ejected.
But
I am
in the
selfish.
postseason,
Yeah, let's set some new rules in the postseason. I'm a fan. I want to see the best players.
But
at the same time, you have to worry about the dangers
Hold on.
of a monstrous
And you're wrong-
man
and you're
destroying
wrong.
another. That guy could have got knocked out. If Jared Allen lies down for another 30 seconds, maybe Embiid's tossed. Because
If he sells
maybe
it,
if
you're
maybe
supposed-
if Embiid, well, maybe if he's hurt, because maybe
Yeah.
if Jared Allen doesn't take it that well, and he literally has a minor concussion, which he very well could have, or just lies down, maybe the refs say, well, that's a flagrant 2, that's excessive, because it was excessive. Embiid was angry at that moment in time,
He
and
was.
he threw
Yeah.
that bow for a particular reason, because he was angry about a previous play.
Last year's playoff, Kevin Love got a rebound, bodies around him. He was throwing bows like guys tend to do sometimes,
Yeah.
and he connected with DeRozan.
Yeah.
Now, you may not think that was as bad, but an elbow hits his chin, he goes down. That was an offensive foul at the time,
Yeah.
and then retroactively, the league gave that a flagrant 1.
That's different
So-
though, in that because they are they're scuffling for the ball there. In this case, Embiid is making the entire move.
He's making a basketball move, though. I mean,
Yeah, but even if you make a basketball move, if you make contact like that,
Oh, okay.
you deserve to be punished.
I
for
think
it.
flagrant 1 honestly was fair, and I do.
I think he was lucky, and I don't think the rule should be different just because it's the playoffs. You say,
Right.
well, you're allowed to do that in the playoffs, but not in the regular season. Like,
Maybe we
what?
can ask Carlos Boozer
I
about
think
Yeah,
that's a
he's
good
a big
idea.
man.
Let's take a break. When we come back, we'll ask C. Booze about that Embiid play and a whole lot more. There he is.
There he is.
Back for
Yeah.
a third time. We'll talk playoffs, Wade, Westeros, and so much more. Don't go anywhere.
The Starters is presented by Jack Daniel's Old No. 7 and Tennessee Honey.
Very happy to welcome back to the studio two-time NBA All-Star and now three-time Starters guest.
Yes.
Carlos Boozer. Yes.
Yes.
Booze, appreciate you taking the time.
Thanks
to
for
come on the
having me,
show.
guys.
We appreciate it.
You know we had to do this again. We had such a blast playing this the last couple of times you've been on, so we're running it back. It's very simple. Everyone knows how to play it. It's and one or and none. If you agree with the statement, you're going to give us the patented
And one.
That's
And
right.
one!
There it is.
There it is.
And if you don't agree, it's a simple and none. We move on. All right.
I like that.
First one is about yesterday's game. We were just talking about it. Joel Embiid. Joel Embiid should have been ejected for that elbow to Jared Allen's face, and one or and none.
And none for me.
Thank you, Booze.
I just think the NBA has gotten away from the physicality of the game that I came into. Like, I came into Shaq. This was a normal play for Shaq.
Oh, yeah.
You know, this was
Shaq
like
was elbowing everybody in the face.
I got a bunch of them. I'm surprised I still got my teeth.
Right.
You know, but the way the league is now, it seems like this is, too much, extensive, like he should have been ejected, but the reality is it's a normal move. He did a drop step. They're both 7-footers. They're both tall. He chins the ball, which is what we're taught when we're kids as big men. It looked really bad because the afro snapped back.
Yeah.
At least he has an afro. But he was okay. He was okay.
Yeah, he was all right. Thankfully, he was all right.
He didn't have the big beard to protect him either. There,
Yeah. All right. Well, next one here. We got a big game between the Spurs and Nuggets tonight. So let's throw this at you. The Spurs will upset the Nuggets. And one or and none. 2-7 matchup. What do you think?
And one!
Wow.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest, and it's not that I don't love the Nuggets. I really do think they're the surprise of this season. I think we expected maybe Utah to take that kind of a leap, but I just think the Spurs experience. I feel like the way Pop coaches, he kind of just like. You know what? He's kind of like the Night King. He just taps in the new guy. He turns into a star. Taps you. You turn into a star, and the train keeps going.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
We're seeing a lot of guys in this series already. The Derek White dunk
Yeah.
out of nowhere.
Forbes, like
Derek
these guys-
White Walker.
But that playoff experience, that's a real thing.
It's
right?
a real thing. The
Right.
thing about it is it's very difficult for new teams, or especially young teams, but new teams to have long success in their first playoff experience together, because the thing about the Spurs, Aldridge has been in the postseason multiple times. DeRozan multiple times.
Yeah.
Popovich has it seems like every year in the NBA he's been in the playoffs. So they've seen everything. They've walked the fire. They've been in tough situations where you're down 0-2, had to come back, a must win at home, a must win on the road.
Right.
They've done it before. So playoff experience is a real thing.
Right.
Moving on to a guy who had his one last dance this year, Dwayne Wade.
Yeah.
Dwayne Wade will get a statue in Miami, and one or and none.
And one! He deserves it. I
Yeah.
mean, you think about his career, incredible career. He's a very close friend of mine. I was very happy for him. He does everything with so much class, so much humility. Like, he's one of the more approachable stars that we've had in our game. I would also say for him, the way you see him mature off the court as a father, you know, I'm very proud of what he's able to do as a man. But career-wise, look at his career: 3 championships, multiple NBA, All-NBA teams, multiple Olympic gold medals. He's just a great guy for young kids to pattern their game after, but also pattern the way he carries himself.
Right. What will that statue be? Any ideas? Will he be up on the scorer's table?
Not the one where he fell.
No.
The one where he made it up top of the mountain. I think that would be a good one.
That'd be a good one. Well, it's funny you brought up the Night King. We're talking a little Game of Thrones here. We saw that you sat yourself on the Iron Throne.
I did.
We had Game of Thrones return this past weekend, and here you are, King Boozer.
Yeah.
You could rule Westeros.
Wow.
And one or and none.
And one!
Oh, wow. Would you be a just king?
I would be just. I would definitely be just. I'm a people's person. I'm one of those people that would give everybody their land. You know, I wouldn't. You know, I think for me personally, I think that when you're a just ruler, you're a good ruler. When the people love you, you'll be there for a longer time. I think you can't be cruel. I wasn't a big fan of Joffrey. You know, just you know, I think you got to see both sides of the coin.
Who do you think's going to end up on the?
I have a weird theory.
Okay.
So, the Night King, right? I mentioned it earlier.
He has no idea what you're talking about, but we do. Don't worry. Lee doesn't.
The Night King to me is very remarkable. He got a dragon now on his team.
Yeah, that's big.
He's fearless. His army grows by the day.
Yep.
That's true.
I kind of feel like he's somebody important that we know.
Right.
And the person that's very emotionless, has kind of a Tim Duncan kind of stoic, same face, no matter if he has a 20-10 game or whatever, wins the championship, same face. Brant.
Yep.
Who can see the future and see the past.
See it all.
And is very chill. I think he might be the Night King.
Oh,
Yeah.
Brand.
I think he might turn into Night King.
Oh, interesting.
Call me crazy, but
hey.
just, I didn't read
I
any
don't mind
books.
it.
I didn't read any books.
You got to
so
throw it out there.
throw it out.
All right, our next one here. You apologized to Danny Crawford. And one or and none.
And
For
one!
nearly taking him down.
I felt bad about it. Honestly, this is a tough. Look, this is a tough game. We're struggling. We're having Dirk is cooking. He happened to. Yeah, that's tough, Danny. Sorry about. I apologize again, man. I'm sorry about that. But it was one of those moments where we had to climb all the way back in that game, and I made a move, got an and one. And it was an and one! And in the middle of my celebration, Danny was right there. And thank God I pulled off a little bit.
Yeah, you did.
I saw him just enough time to pull off it, so it was okay.
Yeah, and he was laughing
But I
about
checked
it.
on him, he was okay.
He
We
was
actually
all
laugh
right.
about it now when we see each other.
Boozer, we can't thank you
great.
enough for coming on, man.
No,
We really
thanks for
appreciate
having
it.
me, man.
Always a blast.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Catch Carlos Boozer tonight
man.
on
Appreciate it, man.
Game Night. When we come back, we're going to talk about which player is under the most pressure heading into tonight's Game 2s. Don't go anywhere.
Welcome back to the starters, where it's time to have a little fill-in-the-blank fun. Let's get into it. We got 3 Game 2s on the schedule tonight. The Magic and Raptors get things started on TNT at 8 p.m. Eastern. They'll be followed by the Thunder and Blazers in the second game of the doubleheader. In between them at 9 p.m. Eastern, we got Spurs and Nuggets right here on NBA TV. Everybody needs a win, but I need you guys to fill in the blank. The player under the most pressure tonight is blank.
It's Kyle Lowry.
What a surprise.
It's
Going with
definitely Lowry. I mean, look, losing Game 1 in the playoffs is nothing new to the Raptors. It is an old hat. They do this. But Lowry putting up the offer in Game 1, I'm not going out on a limb here by saying he's got a hit or shot or two as an all-star to help out in that department. But he's just got to be more involved. Zach Lowe breaking it down. He was only involved in 8 pick and rolls. He was doing some other things, but he has to hit some shots. They win that game if Kyle Lowry hits 1 or 2 threes. They win that game. We all know that. So he's got to show up and he's got to shake these demons, because he's had a lot of trouble in Game 1s before. He's bounced back at times, and other times he's had just as equally as bad Game 2. So who knows what's going to happen with Lowry tonight. He's got to outplay DJ Augustine. That's the whole other thing.
Hey, if he plays them even, they probably win the basketball game. I think it's Jamal Murray of the Denver Nuggets, because the way that the Spurs are playing Nikola Jokic, Jamal Murray is probably going to be the leading scorer for the Nuggets in this series. And he was unrecognizable in Game 1. He's kind of over-dribbling, getting into the wrong spots, just not being Jamal Murray. Just get up, raise up, and shoot. Beat Jamal Murray. It just didn't feel right. And the Spurs won a game here with their best two players not being all that good, and DeMar DeRozan and LaMarcus Aldridge. So the Nuggets have to take it to another level. The Raptors were right there. Kawhi Leonard probably gets a few more minutes, and they could win that basketball game. The Nuggets, they got to be real good. And it starts with Jamal Murray, especially the way they're doubling Jokic.
Well, I'm choosing Jokic. Even though he had a triple-double in game one, in this fourth quarter he only had 2 shots. He made one of them. He had 3 assists, so he was kind of involved. But again, he's the sort of guy we need to see him firing away, being aggressive, shooting the ball on offense. But the bright lights got to Denver in game one. There's no doubt about it. They hadn't been in this position before, and they went up against a team that just sort of knew how to win in the playoffs. So now they've got that one out of the way. They're at home again tonight. You expect them to come out with a bit better effort, a bit of better performance, and it starts with Jokic. He's been
even if the Spurs are running a bunch of guys at him, that was the game.
Yeah, but
game one, game
depending on which way he wants to play, then does he want to keep those other guys involved because he knows a great passer, or does he just want to be more aggressive, going for his shots, trying to get some guys into foul trouble, getting to the free throw line, seeing the ball drop down, because they can't afford to have him only having 2 shots in the fourth quarter. He needs to shoot a little bit more
in a close game.
But he has done that as well throughout the season at times, where he just doesn't shoot and doesn't be aggressive as he should be.
Yeah, I mean, if some of those Nuggets hit some of the open shots that they did get in that game one, Jokic has probably 20 assists in that game, if not more, because he was setting up guys left and right.
Yeah.
Because the Spurs were just throwing doubles at him. So like, we're taking out of his hand. Let's see if Jamal Murray and these other guys can beat us. So a lot of guys under pressure tonight. We could even pick Paul George there with the Thunder going into Portland trying to get a Game 2 win. Let's hear from you guys, though. Jump on Twitter, hashtag the starters. Who you got? When we come back, Lily with a very solid play. Don't go anywhere.
Ooh.
Lou Williams taking down some nachos after last night's Game 2 performance. We asked you, best post-game food moment. You hit us up on Twitter, hashtag the starters. What do you got, Trey?
Some good ones. Fertro says J.R. Smith in McDonald's after the finals. He actually took the trophy there. That's incredible. Also great, Luis Scola making his buffet choice just seconds after the game. Are those chicken fingers? My favorite, though, is playoffs, baby. Ron Artest promoting Wheaties at the podium. That was great. I got Wheaties!
All right, Lily, BSP.
Yeah, going to Philadelphia for this beautiful one here from the Sixers. Tobias starts it off. Ball fizzes around, and look at Mike Scott. Where is he? Boom, there he is. Not the smoothest finish, but it still counts. It's a layup. That's what I call a very solid play.
Solid indeed. Those are solid. We got the Drop podcast recorded and uploaded for you to download and listen to. Obviously talked a lot about last night's games. And looking ahead to tonight's Game 2s. Oh, we had to show you this sign when I was running the Boston Marathon yesterday. Ben had this sign out on the course.
I thought you didn't like signs if they weren't at games.
That's right. That's a real
That one's
sign.
okay.
Like, good day, sweet roll. Thanks, Ben, for cheering me on there. I'm still hurting. All right, thanks to Boozer. We'll see you guys tomorrow night at 5:30 p.m. Eastern Time.